So, welcome guys. Today we're going to have a little bit of fun learning how to paint the Batman one. This is one that is aimed for kids and adults alike, so it has been set to children. I hope you've all had a good week. Or weekend if this ends up going up sometime in the holidays. I am doing a bit of a batch at the moment, just to get ahead. So, Batman. Well, I'm a bit of a comic book geek, as many of the followers from Instagram will be aware. So something like this is super cool to me. I pre-painted a rock yellow because yellow needs a few layers. And if you're working with a darker rock, I advise putting a white coat on first. It makes it a lot easier, but we'd be waiting ages for it to dry. And we do need it dry to do this work, because we're going to be drawing on it with a pencil. I want you to get a pencil that is as soft as possible. So, and then I want you to be holding on to it really lightly. Now we're going to be marking our centre point first. You can see I picked a rock that's specifically this kind of shape. This is a natural rock. I haven't gone out and bought specialist ones. So it's just a case of getting lucky and hoping you find the right kind of shape. If you can't, don't paint a background and draw it in the centre of it. But once you've worked out where that shape's going to be, you're looking for your centre point, which is on here, around here. Now, as you can see, for a Batman, we have to come up near to the top where the top of the bat's head's going to be, but we're not going all the way. So we're going to draw a little line across where his head's going to be, and then we're going to go all the way down to where the bat's tail would be. And once we've done that, we can give him his very well known little ears, two little triangles, and for the tail we can draw on our tail point like that with a bit of a slope. Now the next bit, which is really worth doing next, makes your life a lot easier, is these wings. See how they're curving nicely right round both sides? Well, we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to curve around the edge of our rocks, and going to curve all the way to here and all the way up here, and do the same on the other side. And now this is something that a lot of people that love comic books will have been enjoying this kind of shape since you were a kid. So if this is something that you're a kid or an adult that has never learned how to draw Batman shapes, it's a cool time to learn. But yeah, I've been drawing this shape for far too long. So at the bottom we're going to look for another middle point, but a little higher up between these two. So you see where this falls here? We've got another middle point between those two, so we're going to mark it. By actually finding these points first, we're making our own life easier, because then we can curve in and just go straight to it, and we can do the same going to the end. And rather than trying to draw on the back, trying to draw these curves without 100% knowing where we're going, which that can miss, and then you end up trying to shape the tail and it can go wrong. And even with somebody that knows how to draw or how to paint, we see things see angles differently, and if we mark it on so we know exactly where we're aiming for, it makes our life a lot easier. So I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to be looking at where I want the head to end. So I'm going to bring the head down, and I'm going to want it to end around here, which means I'm going to want this to curve round a lot higher, because this comes to near the top of the head. But you'll see this little curve here is a lot more of a shallow curve. So what we're going to do is we want to twist it round, make our little curve, and then make it join. And the beautiful thing about using pencils first for this is by not putting the paint on first, we can use a rubber if we do make a mistake, because they work absolutely fine on painted rocks, just like they do anywhere else, which is absolutely brilliant. But on top of that, it's a lot easier to paint over an issue made like this than it would be if you'd done it a lot later on. So we're going to look for the right kind of paintbrush. There we go. And I'm just going to use a thin filbert, a mid-sized filbert to fill in the body, and then more detailed around the edge. But you could use paint pens for this, you could use, and as always, I'm going to say to you that, you know, I use these as hiding rocks. If you do the same, make sure you're varnishing them first, and remembering Sharpies, if you do choose to use that style, they don't take to varnish as well. I haven't tried actually working with glaze on them. I might give it a go and see how it works for you guys, but overall I would say yacht varnish is a really good beginner's option. So, Batman. Now, you may need a couple of layers of black. I'm just going to put one on here. But overall, the aim of this now is colouring in the lines you've made yourself. And by actually already having drawn on the core design, I'm going to now go to the finer brush I've got to go around the edge. By drawing on the core design like we did, we've made our life a lot easier, because we can now go around the edge there we go, and just pick out any of these little fine details that we've got in our drawing and go to them. Now, because I'm doing this a little quicker than I normally would do when I'm painting, I might make a couple of mistakes, but if you do, let it dry before you try and go over anything with yellow, because yellow paint is a pain, as I've said to you a few times, and as soon as you start mixing yellow over your black, you're just going to make a big mess. So let it dry and then go and put your corrections in, which are absolutely fine to do, but yeah, let it dry. Don't put pressure on yourself to do something and rush it. So we've got the bat head and ears there, and I'm coming down to the bottom here where we have the points and the wing, and there we go. There's another trick for a mistake which I've done there as well. Because we're working with a dry rock, if you actually use a wipe on the end and get it while notice your mistake while it's still actually wet, we can actually also do something like that. It actually will pull off completely clean look. So if it's a little bit at a corner like that, you've also got that, but be very careful. Cotton buds are really good as well, or Q-tips I believe they're called in America. They do the job perfectly. So you've also got that option. There we go, we're going to the point down here, and we have a Batman rock nearly done now. It's a nice, quick and easy design. And the only other thing I'm going to say, that's I've gone around the edge here, is I'm going to take my filbert and do the other thing that is very known on these symbols, which is going round the edge in our black. Now obviously I can't hold the middle right now with it being wet, so I'm going to be going very carefully around the edge and taking my time to try and not cover myself, which is a skill I have covering myself in paint. There we go. We go around the edge. And it just finishes off our symbol. Now I would advise you wait till the rest of your stuff is dry to do that last little bit. It would make your life a lot easier. If you want to neaten up the edges when it is dry, you can always use a black fine liner, go around the edge, and that will achieve that perfectly well. But apart from that, I've been Arty Smarty with Mum. I hope you really enjoy the rest of your day and stay safe and well, guys.